Okay, and we're back. So, this is chapter 38. Chapter 37 is really just discovering the game, just various plot points. And remember how there was a plot point about Sume, his the main character's previous lover, to be an upstreamer or Suno. Well, that really comes into play this chapter, right? He said he promised her a game, and it's very nice. You can see some of the drama elements really entangling into this. So we have a background as well. I always like colorful backgrounds, especially these type of artistic ones. 要打一起打，开始游戏, and then 全民什么战, some sort of video game. But anyway, back to it. Chapter 38. I will always love games. 第38章，我永远喜欢游戏. This one I don't think it ever explicitly says in the title. But chapter 39. This is really a build up for chapter 39. There's an interesting scene in chapter 39 I want to get to. But there's still some good parts in this one as well. Yeah, chapter 38. I will always love games. Sume looked at the girl on the screen, and for some reason she felt a bit like herself. She's a, sorry. She's a pair of big, bright black eyes, but her face is sickly pale, like a piece of paper. Her eyebrows are delicate and amiable, and people like to look at her. Her long black hair is scattered behind her. But it was such a lovely girl sitting quietly in a wheelchair, asking what her name was. Oh, by the way, in the video game, you are um in the place of the MC or some of his experiences. Sume felt the heartstrings in her heart were moved instantly. This game is so real. The girl in front of her has a real and delicate face, as if she was really in a video call with herself. Sume looked at each other and realized she had been staying for a long time. But this time, the girl in front of her actually used her hand. Turning the wheelchair, I came to my character and gently wiped the teardrops from the character's face with her hand and said softly, Ayao is very good. Dad, don't worry about Ayao. Sume almost turned her heart and stood there biting her lip. Although reason tells myself this is just a prearranged picture in the game, this game has been seen a lot, but it is a story, Easter egg triggered by the player without operating the character for a long time. But the action of the wiping the tears just now involuntary hits the softest corner of my heart. She bit her lip and closed the game. After Sume quit the game, she first opened the game interface of Tomorrow is Not Coming, or Tomorrow Hasn't Arrived on the Steam platform again, and found that the publisher of the game turned out to be a small company called uh, Tomorrow Studio in the country. There's so many game studios in China, and the kind that can't be heard when thrown into the river. But by the way, how could they make such an excellent game? Even if Sume has only played for less than 5 minutes, she's shocked by the exquisiteness of the game graphics and modeling, especially the previous move by Ayao to wipe her tears, which is really no different from a live action movie. It's so subtle, even with the best motion capture. She then opened the search engine and searched for Tomorrow Studio, and Tomorrow hasn't arrived. The results did not find any corresponding items, indicating that this game and studio are really unknown characters before. Sume couldn't believe that she had found such a great game by washing the sand in the waves, and that it was really made in China. This is the realism you kind of want to see from authors. Not You don't want it to be like super sobering or like super pessimistic, but having some sense of self awareness, and also the fact that they're humble enough to admit that really makes it more readable for Western readers. And I really enjoy the not necessarily the humble attitude but just the lack of contemptuousness from the author. Some call it honest, some call it like, shameful, right? You're airing out dirty laundry. But, a sense of realism and substitution, and like, as long as you don't break the logic of the story, I think the author does a really good job at that. And anyway, let's continue. After all, the domestic game market has always been far inferior to foreign first line games. Um, yeah, I that's partially true, but there are certain moments. It's basically 5 to 10 years. Well, actually, even with this in the future, I mean, the author could have taken it any different direction, but he's kind of basing realist on current moment in history. It's basically 5 to 10 years behind foreign first line games. At this moment, Sume even feels that it surpasses all the AAA masterpieces that she's played. Even his favorite, The Last Day of the Sea Eagle, it was slightly overshadowed in the performance of the subtle scene just now. Of course, the end of the sea is a far more outstanding than the graphics, but its profound and touching plot and so just saying the end of the sea has much better graphics, but yeah, I'm sorry, the grammar's not there. The current Tomorrow hasn't arrived, only has the preliminary polishing of the prologue, and it must be biased when compared to it. After adjusting her mood, Sume closed the phone that he had set a 2-hour countdown in front of the computer for a refund. A lot of that, yeah, especially since Steam opened that refund option. The quality of this game, even if it was only for half of the 5 minutes before, Sume believed it could be worth it. The price of 199 yuan. That's what? Hey, that's like 20 bucks. Or 30 bucks. But that might be a lot for Chinese. Because, like, imagine if you had to look at $200. If it really doesn't work, even if it should be worth it, the price of 199, even if the game doesn't work, because it supports domestic production. Sume told herself this. Then she gave this game a special price on the Steam platform. I only played for 5 minutes. I feel like this is a moving game. I hope you can continue to work hard. Then Sume opened the Bilan website and sent a message after a long time. I found a game that may have great potential. The quality is super high. It feels great in 5 minutes. I plan to make it live. I probably stream it live. Please look forward to it. The evaluation on the Steam platform is nothing, and no one knows who I am. This is a newly released game. I'm still its first batch of players, so I haven't responded for a long time. But the Bilan website was instantly fried. Oh my god! The upmaster that my grandfather is following has cheated on the corpse. No. As long as you're willing to do the live show, I'd like to watch you, even if you pick up the scraps of fantasy. Um, a lot of people crying. Um, can Nono reveal what the game is? Made in China? It's been a long time since Nono has been so excited about it. Although Sumei's fans on the Bilan website are not particularly large, they are close to 1 million. Sumei's corpse was scammed after the college entrance. Probably her ID. After the college entrance examination and instantly caused a spree. Sumei's personal messages also kept ringing. People, um, some people asked about the recent developments. Some people wanted to know what the game was, and some people were simply expressing their joy. After watching them patiently, Sumei sent out a second dynamic. The name of the game will be kept secret for the time being. It's a newly released domestic game, and I will start to make it tonight. I will probably be able to transcode and upload it tomorrow morning. Just thoughts. After doing this, Sumei took out her microphone from the box and fixed it to the front of the screen and carefully adjusted the state of the machine. Since it decided to make Tomorrow Hasn't Arrived a live game, of course we must go all out. Sumei's state during the live event was completely different from her usual state. ... In game. When the heavy snow fell on the screen again, Sumei took a deep breath and adjusted her accent. Hello everyone, this is Suno. It's nice to meet you again. Today I'll bring you a preliminary view of the live game of a domestic, preliminary view of the uh, live stream of a domestic game. Tomorrow hasn't arrived. Tomorrow is not coming. I found this game on the trash dump of the Steam platform. After trying it, I feel that the quality is super high, so I hope to share it with you. Not even Steam Greenlight, eh? Let me explain in advance that this is my first time playing this game. The type of gameplay is not clear yet, even though I only tried it for 5 minutes. So I swear that I don't know anything about the next game progress. There may be miserable deaths or stuck levels. Please forgive me. What I've always wanted to practice is that I always wanted to bring the touch of my first gameplay to everyone and let everyone share the pure joy of gaming. Yeah, gaming and streaming is really an experience. Like, people sell experiences like Disneyland. I feel like that's what YouTubers and gamers do. That they try and sell enjoyment and experience. I always like games, and you who always likes to play games and also like to make them uh, and also like them like those who make. So I always like games, and those who always like to play games, and I also like those who make good games for us, developers. Man, that translation was a little bit off. That's all. Let's play this game now. The girl's clean and clear voice echoed in the room. The door of the room was locked tightly. This is the space that belonged to Sume, and this is also the realm of Sume. She liked it very much, and so she was very happy. The heavy snow fell, and the girl's narration continued. This story takes place in the hypothetical future when the sun goes out. Everything is frozen, and mankind is on the verge of extinction. Our protagonist lives in a huge nuclear power plant. On this day, he decided to take his seriously ill daughter out of this deadly shelter to the dead planet Earth outside to find hope of life. Our game starts here. Very interesting comment here. It's like, this type of apocalypse, a lot of people say this is probably the apocalyptic game. What you need to experience is something more like The Last of Us, right? Where you get like despair and cruelty in the story rather than, something like Fallout, where it's really more just an RPG in an apocalypse setting. And the plot isn't really there, it's just gameplay. But yeah, that's chapter 38. I will always love games. And then chapter 39, there's a very fun scene as well.